Hi, this is Harry with the Comic Book Haul video for June 2023. We have a big pile, so let's go ahead and flip this on down and take a look at what we got. Alright, so we'll begin with what I got for Free Comic Book Day. And this is what I got for Free Comic Book Day at the local store. So start with Archie Horror Presents The Cursed Library, which was a Free Comic Book Day offering covered by Hack. And we've got Sabrina with a little bit of Cthulhu action going on, unless that's supposed to be Betty. I think that's actually supposed to be Betty. Anyways, as we flip on open, you see that it has a nice, current Archie style artwork. And what it's got is little snippets from the Chilling Adventures stories that we've been reading. So it has the Pop's Chocolate Shop of Horrors, it has the Cult of That Wilkins Boy, and it's just little bits of them. And then talks a little bit about what the series are about and gives you a little bit of a timeline of what's going on. So that is The Cursed Library. Next we got Fish Flies from Jeff Lemire, who is the creator behind Sweet Tooth, which I've been watching the Sweet Tooth TV show and I've been really enjoying it. I don't know that this has anything to do with it, but I imagine it may. It has at least a similar art style. I really dig this watercolor, there we go, this watercolor background here. I'm wondering if you used a water pen to do that, or if that was straight up watercolors. And so this just seemed like it was an interesting thing, and since I've been wanting to get into Sweet Tooth, I figured I'd pick up this as well. So it's coming in July 2023. So a lot of the stuff that you find for Free Comic Book Day is really just an ad in disguise. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW. So it's got interior, very black and white and blue art. I got some color in there, here and there. And it looks like it's sort of a dark, gritty Turtles story. And then we have some past Turtle stories. So if you've not read any of the current Ninja Turtles stuff, there's sort of a Ninja Turtles multiverse where all of the Turtle stuff exists. So I don't know if this touches into that, if the opening story is one of the other possible Turtle worlds or what, but Ninja Turtles. Madballs versus Garbage Pail Kids. So when I was little, I really dug Garbage Pail Kids. I wanted to get into Madballs so badly, but never did. I remember being in a kindergarten grade art class and making Madballs out of clay. So this is going to be, I think, kind of a fun, juvenile, grossy thing. Got opening comic is about Madballs. And then, the Garbage Pail Kids get involved. So it's just this really neat, disgusting-ish art style that's actually rather beautiful. It reminds me of some of the better parts of Ren and Stimpy, I think is the best way to put it. So, Garbage Pail Kids versus Madballs. I Hate Fairyland from Scotty Young, one of the creators behind Twig, which I really enjoyed Twig. And this is a completely different fairy tale type story than Twig, but it uses a lot of the same fairy tale conventions, but this is more of subversion of fairy tale expectations. It's a little girl that gets sucked into a fairy tale land, and she's not very good at being a fairy tale heroine, and so she's been stuck there for 27 some years, and now the Queen of Fairyland is tired of having her here and trying to get her out. And it's just a story of how she deals with all of that. So she gets powers from one of the big demon lord guys, and it's kind of a neat idea. I got it for $5 from the local comic store. I thought it was fun. Would I necessarily read a lot more of it? Maybe. I haven't added it to my pull list or anything, but if I found another trade for a low price, I probably would get it. Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire. Remember when I said I started reading it and I've been watching it? Well, here it is. So I had been interested in it when I first saw the comic come out as a trade years ago, but I never got it. And then I had found it on sale at the local store, so I picked it up, and I do not regret it. It's a little darker in tone than the TV series is. I feel like the artwork definitely gives it a extra nightmarish quality. It feels very dream-like, and there's some unexpected stuff in here. So if you have already watched the TV series, you'll find some differences between the TV series and the trade. So for $5, could not go wrong. Also found at the local store, which I have not read yet, the Thrilling Adventure Hour. So I've been listening to the podcast on and off for a long time, and this is based on the podcast of the Thrilling Adventure Hours. It's got some stories from Beyond Belief, and, well, honestly, I picked it up for the Beyond Belief story, because Beyond Belief is my favorite of their installments. But they have a lot of the other characters and stories and things will be showing up as well. So just kind of interested in where it's going to go and how it's going to feel. I'm wondering if they're actually telling stories that they've done actual podcasts for. Yeah, so it features Sparks Nevada, Cactoid Jim, Down Moonshine Holler, Philip Fathom, Jefferson Reed, American Ace, Amelia Earhart, Fearless Flyer, the Cross-Time Adventures of Colonel Tick-Tock, Tales of the USSA, Beyond Belief, Captain Laserbeam, and the King of Coffee advertisements and such. But Beyond Belief is what I really got this for. And $1. For $1, it's worth figuring out whether or not they have whether or not this is any fun or any good. So got the comic book story of professional wrestling. So if you watch the channel a lot, you know that I enjoy professional wrestling to some extent, and this is the story of how professional wrestling came to be, told in comic book form. So it has a lot of, it goes, I want to say from, it looks like it goes from the 1900s, somewhere in there. No, it actually goes way back into Greco-Roman period, all the way up until the present. So I think that it could be a fun little read. And again, I got it for $5, so there's nothing wrong with that. Also got It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth by Zoe Thorogood. So this is a autobiographical type comic, and as you know, I really enjoy these. I like the art style that's going on in here. It's got a nice cartoony but realistic in its own way style. So it has a lot of different, I think, a lot of different art styles taking place within a few pages that are likely part of the expressionistic thing that's going on inside of the comic. So let's just flip to the back. Cartoonist Zoe Thorogood records 6 months of her own life as it falls apart in a desperate attempt to put it back together again in the only way she knows how. It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth is an intimate and meta-narrative look into the life of a selfish artist who must create for her own survival. $5 as well. And this notion of needing to create for your own survival as an artist is really interesting. It's why I never actually got into the arts the way that I wanted to. It's, a real struggle for real artists to deal with is when you have to create in order to survive. And the thing is, as a creative type, you still need to create in order to feel good and thrive. So more on that maybe later. And last that I got at the local comic store is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. So this is, you've seen the book, you might have seen the movie. This is the trade paperback of Pride and Prejudice mashed up with zombies. So, again, for $5, I was curious, so picked that one up. So I'm going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. At the top of this pile, as I move the other pile away, I have Cherry Gilbert, Necromancer, Volume 1, Clear the Fog. So I got this on Etsy from Space Between Comics, which is directly from Pat Shand and Company. And this is part of the Destiny New York universe. It follows Cherry Gilbert right after the whole Tragnar saga. So I want to say it's after the 4th volume of Destiny New York. So it's, just kind of going into her life and a little bit of a focus on her and her world and those around her. So black and white inside, get some nice prose stuff at the back. So really looking forward to that because, again, I really like the Destiny New York world, and I really look forward to actually finding out more about this character that I've had all kinds of feelings around. And I want to say in some of the previous volumes of Destiny New York, I've just been indifferent about her. Recently, I've gone from being indifferent to being upset to liking her, and so looking forward to seeing how this works in my brain space for how I react to the character. And now I have the stuff that I got from DCBS for the month. So, as I like to do, $61.98 for the month. That's for 21 books, as well as the bags and such that go with it. And let's see what we've got. We've got Philadelphia, Volume 1. So I had started reading the Nita Hawes Nightmare blog last month before last, and it was a spin-off of Philadelphia. So this is actual Philadelphia, so I can get some background on Nita Hawes, and also because I thought that the world was interesting, the writing was interesting. So as we pop into this, it looks pretty cool. It actually reminds me a little bit of the Blackula comic from a couple months back. And but yeah, this is, I think, going to be a good read. It has some, we'll say, adultish looking content here and there, and it's got all the covers. I love it. I love it when it has the covers in the back. So that's Philadelphia. And speaking of Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog, Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog, Volume 2, Murder by Another Name. So this goes right back into Nita Hawes' story. And I really liked the previous one with the Blues Man, and so I'm again just keep saying I'm looking forward. I'm excited to see what the villain of this volume is going to be and where this is all going to go. I'm wondering if she's going to deal with vampires or what kind of supernatural thing she's dealing with. So Free Comic Book Day from DCBS scored me the Frazetta-verse. I've been reading the Death Dealer comic. I'm going to be getting the Mothman comic. Dawn Attack is not something that had been interesting to me. So this just kind of goes into a little bit of each world. I don't know that it's going to have very much. I don't know if these are original stories or if they're just excerpts, but I'll definitely take a look at it. And I couldn't say no to something that was Death Dealer-y when I'm still collecting Death Dealer. They also sent me We Are Legends, which was the DC free comic book thing. I did not order this, but it still showed up. So I don't know if they're still sending that to everybody, but it didn't really interest me, so I didn't order it. But now that it's here, I'm going to read it. It looks like a DC comic. Smells like a DC comic. It's got Nightwing like a DC comic. It's got an advertisement for The Flash like a DC comic. Let's see how it is. West of Sundown from Vault Comics. So this one here, seemed really interesting. It was going, I believe it's a vampire-y type tale, and it takes place in the like 1800s or so. So definitely up my alley. And I've yet to read something from Vault that I have not at least enjoyed a little bit. Chilling Adventures presents Jinx, A Cursed Life, #1, and a one-shot. So this follows Jinx. So once again, this is an Archie comic. So, you know, it will be that same sort of feeling that a lot of the other Archie one-shots have been. Again, it seems really short. My goodness. Like there's not a lot of pages here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20 pages of story. So, I don't know. Jinx Holiday is a firecracker and a fire starter. Destruction always follows in her wake, and sometimes weirdos stop her and talk about her destiny. It's all combined to create quite the aura of mystery around a 14-year-old girl who just wants some pizza rolls. And while her soul might belong to Satan, her heart belongs to the electric guitar. But one day, when Archie Andrews comes looking for help because Jughead is acting weird, Jinx and her best friend Danny embark on a mission to exorcise Jughead. It's two BFFs versus Satan for the good of humanity, or at very least for Jinx to be free to be a normal teenage girl who just happens to dabble in necromancy and rock and roll. So yeah, I mean, I wonder if she'd get along with Cherry Gilbert. So we got Dark Ride, issue 6. Love this cover. Love the colors that they used, the coloring techniques that they used here. This reminds me very much of like a rock cover for a metal album cover. It's giving me, what was it, Green Jelly vibes. Very much so. So inside we got some black and white, which of course means memories. And then we're gonna get some more background. It looks like this is gonna be background about Halloween. And then we're getting closer to Samhain, probably finding out more about his place in all of this. And right towards the end, looks like we might be finding their papa. So that's getting somewhere. Door to door, night by night, evil takes the wheel. Do you hear the roar of the engine? The stench of the tires, the screech of the tires, sorry. I'm reading this upside down. I should really just look at the screen, but I'm reading upside down here. Screech of the tires, do you feel it deep in your soul? Fireball Sally has secret to share. Some races aren't meant to be won, not by the living. So it looks like this is going to be a sort of play on Christine, or that sort of thing. And, you know, we just pop right in. Looks like it's going to be fairly tame until, whoosh. That looks awesome. I love that 2-page spread. It's really cool. Yeah, so it looks like things get really real right towards the end. Which, I mean, that's kind of how I like a lot of these things to go. For it to feel very, like, nice build up. Everything feels safe. Everything, like, we get some background, we get some information and stuff like that, and then things get really real. I like that. Dungeons and Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures. I've been enjoying the series. It's been pretty good so far. So again, I've really enjoyed the art style in here. Ooh, 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 ooh! One of my favorite monsters, the Beholder. Love it, love it. Love it. So we'll see how far that Beholder gets. Probably not very. And looks like we get Venger by the end. So pretty cool. I'm wondering if and when they're going to stop this series. I know that they have a Summer Fun Spectacular coming up soon, and I want to say there's at least another 2 issues left, but I'm wondering if they're actually going to get back to reality by the end of all of it, or if they're going to have to just make the decision. And you can actually see Venger here in the corner. Do they have anything in the back of this one? Nothing but a advertisement for The Last Ronin. Alright, let's talk about Death Dealer earlier, so here he is, stabbing dudes. as Death Dealer do. And yeah, so like I said, last issue I was so on. It was okay. I'm wondering if I'm going to enjoy it more going forward. I've yet to pull it from my pull list, so there's still definitely time for me to make a call on whether I like it or not, like where it's going or not. But I'm hoping it gets better. Looks like we got a new major villain on the horizon, so that's going to be nice. Gargoyles, issue number 6. I had not ordered issue 5, so I had to order issue 5 from a independent seller. Issue 5 came in. I was pretty good. And here we are now, carrying on the story, because Goliath had been taken prisoner in the previous issue, a couple issues ago, and now they were going to try to set him free, but that's probably a bad idea. So now they're trying to work within the law and what's going to happen to him and all of that. So interested to see where this is going to go. And I'm also very intrigued about, they're going to have a Gargoyles Dark Ages. So it's going to be Gargoyles before they came to the present day. I think that'll be pretty cool. The Gimmick continues with number 3. So this has been a pretty cool series so far. It's got that wrestling and superheroics vibe. So, what's there not to like? And we're just kind of moving along with the story. And then I've noticed that these prose stories in the back are definitely worth taking a read on. Because, you're maybe tempted to just kind of pass them along. But I read them in the previous issue. I really enjoyed them. So I'm going to make sure to read them in this one. The Last Barbarians, issue 4. So I have not gotten one of the Virgin covers with the no title, and it's just like a portrait of somebody. They haven't had any. So we're getting into the meat of their quest, and hopefully we're going to have a satisfying conclusion coming up. Because I want to say there's only a couple issues left of this, and after that, it'll be over. So I've enjoyed it so far. It's grown on me by a lot. Sylvie has grown on me a lot more than I thought she would. Oh, Little Monsters. This is the last issue of Little Monsters in my hands. I'm not even going to open it up because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. I don't want to see anything at all. We must endure. So, who's going to survive? What's going to happen? All coming up soon. I'm going to be sad to see this series go. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very exciting. So, see what happens. Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, number 4. We're going into the current He-Man animated series universe. So we get the big, bulky He-Man, the big, bulky Skeletor. I really like those designs. I actually have the big, bulky Skeletor toy. Ooh, this Skeletor. He looks a little bit like the movie Skeletor. I wonder which world this is. And depending on what world it is, I'm hoping that they actually come out with a figure of him, because, man, I like the look of his armor. So yeah, I collect Skeletors for my, Masters of the Universe collecting needs. Oh, we got Battle Cat. Battle Cat going on over there. Oh, got a lot of things going on in this one. So I know we're coming up towards the end, if not the actual end of this one. But yeah, I've enjoyed the read on this so far. It's been pretty cool. And got Trapjaw on the front. Trapjaw is one of my favorites, though I don't like this particular version of Trapjaw very much. But this version of Skeletor, big beefy Skeletor with the skeleton arm. Thumbs up. Miracle Man, Silver Age, number 5. So yeah, we're right back at it, where what's happening with young Miracle Man. And I don't want this to end. I feel like when they get to the end of the Silver Age, that might be all we're going to see from Miracle Man for some time. So, Neil Gaiman, make more. Got the Nasty, number 2. I'm going to be talking about Nasty #1 in a separate video, and I will probably finish reading #2 so I can actually include #2 in my summary about #1 and #2. But yeah, so the young boy, that's the main character, has a imaginary friend who's a masked Jason-like serial killer dude, and now he's in his life. So, oh, look at this. Hollow Heart. That looks cool. That looks cool. Anyways, but again, Nasty comes from Vault Comics, and what's there not to like from Vault? The Neighbors, #3. This is one, again, I said this last... I almost said last issue. Well, I said this of the last issue, and I also said this the previous time I did the video. I need to reread #1 and 2 because I feel like I missed something somewhere in there. But I don't know if it's just the art has got me distracted or what, but I definitely need to reread #1 and then 2 and then get back into this and see what I have to think about it, because I feel like there's more there than what I'm seeing, and I like the vibe it's sending me, so definitely need to reread that a little bit more carefully. Nightclub, #5. So this is coming up towards the end as well. So we have our young vampire superhero wannabes, and they've come across some vampire supervillain AMs. So yeah, I've enjoyed this series so far. I'm wondering if there's going to be a Netflix series, honestly, because they keep talking about like the Mark Millerverse on Netflix and all that, and I know that Jupiter's Legacy did not fly, so I'm wondering if any of the other stuff that Mark Miller's worked on is going to actually show up. Planet of the Apes #2 from Marvel. So I read the first one, and I was actually falling asleep reading the first one. But I really dig the Planet of the Apes world. This takes place in the like rise of the Planet of the Apes period, right after the apes do their revolution on the San Francisco Bridge. So yeah, I read issue 1. I need to reread issue 1. Actually put it on my desk so that I won't forget to reread it. This cover I really dig. I love just how they put this all together. That's really good, really powerful composition. I love the quote of the Statue of Liberty, because he's holding up the torch and he has the book in his hand, and that plays a part in the Planet of the Apes. So I think that's really cool, and just like it all being in flames and stuff is that this is a really evocative and interesting image. Sandman Universe Dead Boy Detectives #6. We're getting right at the end of this one, and yeah, we'll find out exactly how everything comes together. I'm going to just flip real quick, and I believe that we're going to be at the end of the storyline, so we'll see what happens. And there's that ad for the Flash again. They're really pushing that. Stray Sheep #4. #2 still hasn't come in. That's all I have for down here on the desktop. Let's go back up top and say goodbye. All right, so that's what we have for comics for the month. There's quite a big pile. I don't imagine I'm actually going to be able to read everything this month, especially with all those trade paperbacks. I've already read Sweet Tooth and I Hate Fairyland, and this week I haven't read much. I've been on vacation, so I've been centering my attention elsewhere. But I'll be right back on my regular schedule of reading and all that pretty soon, which I look forward to. It's one of the things about vacation. You get out of your normal zone of things that you're in, and then the things that you normally enjoy, you're not enjoying because you're in the middle of enjoying things that you never get to enjoy. So, anyways, but more on that later. But first, if you are just here to see the comics fly by, I want to tell you thank you very much for stopping by. Leave a comment about anything that you'd like to learn more about, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video out so that people will discover and see more about what's going on here and what's going on the channel. If you are here to hear me talk at you for a little bit, please stay behind, because I'm going to talk at you for a little bit. So I am, as I said, on vacation. Vacation's going to last. This is the last 2 days of it. So this is the Saturday. I'm off on Sunday, and then I'm back to my normal everything on Monday. And vacation's always a weird place for me to be because it gives me an opportunity to do things I don't normally do. And it also ends up taking away the opportunity for me to do things that I normally do. So it's interesting. So like this week, one day I actually went out and I did some thrift shopping, which is something that I like doing a lot. I took a day to I went out to eat. I got barbecue, and then I got ice cream afterwards, which is abnormal for me. I don't tend to, one, eat out more than once per week, and two, I don't tend to get more than one meal per week out of the house. And so that was, extra special. And then I went thrifting at a few stores. So I went to a couple Savers and I went to a Goodwill store. And I managed to find some stuff. I found a copy of Forbidden Island, which I'm going to grab that. Whoop. Boom. So I like board games a lot. And I found this one, $3.49, which is a really good deal. Everything's here and in good shape except for the pawns. And I actually just ended up ordering some pawns through Amazon for a couple bucks that I'll put in there, and I'll be able to have some extra pawns hanging around for if I ever need them. I also got a cake stand, which I'm not going to show here, but I could always insert a picture, but I probably didn't. And then there's, what else did I end up getting? I got some pants, which you don't need to see the pants. So I had successful thrifting, and then I had just a really nice afternoon doing, going out to eat and doing thrift shopping. So during all of that, I didn't do any of my reading, didn't go get tea, didn't, this, that, the other. So I didn't do all my normal afternoon stuff. So my normal afternoon is, actually my normal day. I get up, I have breakfast. My breakfast is always apple and peanut butter with a yogurt, green tea, water. That's what I have for breakfast. Then after I get up, I usually do painting. After I do painting, I'll listen to a podcast, and if I was up really early, I'll take a nap. If I was not up really early, I'll continue painting. Then I will do some writing. So lately, when I've been supposed to be doing some writing, I've just been writing like an Instagram post and then farting around on the internet. Not very good, not very productive. So I have to kind of get away from that because I've not been doing my creative thing that I really enjoy. I've been working on Gleefield, which I need to passionately work on Gleefield. More on that. Maybe, as long as I remember. So after I do writing, then next up is doing my exercises. So I do exercises for, half an hour to an hour. And then I take out the dog. So that, takes another hour or so. I cut everything up into hours, even though it doesn't take an exact hour. So sometimes, it's things are folded together, like, getting ready for the day and then taking out the dog. That's all part of that same hour. Anyway, so take out the dog. And then I'll have lunch, and I'll usually watch something when I'm having lunch. And then I will have I'll do the dishes with Saz, and then I will have a cup of tea, read a comic, and then maybe have like a bowl full of nuts or something. And then I'll head off to work. I'll come home, and then I'll die. That's generally what my everyday day is like. So this week it's been all over the place because it's whatever I feel like doing. And some of this week has been, I have to get up early, take Saz to an appointment, take the dog to an appointment, do this, do that, do the other. That's all not, centered towards my usual routine. And anytime I get out of my routine, it's always kind of funky and weird because things don't feel like they're jiving in just the right way. But is what it is. So anyways, this week I did all kinds of stuff that was different than I normally would do. Went to the movies, we got froyo, I did some drawing for the first time in like 5 years, which was really weird, which was really nice to do, and I really want to do more. But there's so much to do. There's so little time to do it. Anyways, that said, so today, the day next to the last day of my vacation, like I said, I don't usually go out to eat more than once per week, so I'm actually getting back onto my schedule of once per week. And I went out today. I went to Five Guys for a burger and fries. Got burger, fries, and a raspberry tea. And I got some peanuts, because they do peanuts as a like free little munchie thing. And I ate, and I feel like I ate too much at this point. But everything felt really salty. Tasted like everything tasted very salty, especially the fries were very, very, very salty, and the burger itself was salty to me. It felt like I had been eating Funyuns. Like my lips were all like feeling like they got completely dried out. Excuse me as I rub my eyes. I just didn't enjoy it, and it kind of came to me that, you know, like this is just being put in the "it's not for me" category. So, yeah, I don't normally do fast food at all. I don't do food with a lot of preservatives at all. In my everyday daily life, I don't do preservatives. I try to stay away from stuff with high salt content, try to stay away from sugar content, try to stay away from a lot of carb content. So today was like, you know, here's your burger with fries and all the salt in the world and all this stuff, you know, a bunch of carbs, a bunch of this, a bunch of that. And now I just feel cruddy. And I don't normally feel cruddy after I eat a burger and fries. So I've gone out to like Longhorn, I've gone out to local places and stuff like that and had burger and fries, and I've been fine. But I went to Five Guys, and now I'm like, oh, this feel gross. And the worst part of it is, like, I know I ate like 16 to 1700 calories. I'm still hungry by a lot. Like I really could eat again now, despite having surely eaten up to my caloric intake for the day. I'm sure I hit 2,000 calories between my meal earlier and then this lunch. But I'm just now like starving feeling. So, and that's because it was just a ton of carbs and not a lot of protein, not enough protein. Yes, there's protein in the meat, there's protein in the cheese, there's some protein, I believe, in the mushrooms, because I have mushrooms on it, right? But yeah, there's just not enough there to make me feel full for very long. And yeah, I'm just like between feeling gross, not nauseous, just kind of like gross, and also feeling hungry. Like I want to eat something, but I don't want to eat something because I feel like if I eat something, it's just going to weigh heavy on me. So my stomach just went because like I hear you talking about food, Harry. So yeah, me and food have a interesting relationship, which I'll talk about a little bit. I'm not going to get super in depth with it today, but I can definitely talk about it more later. So at peak weight, I was 275. I started doing exercise daily. I went down to 259. I stayed 259 because I didn't change my diet. I changed my diet, and I ended up dropping down to 138 or so. And doctor said that's too much. And so I've been adding food back into my diet and stuff like that. So now I'm in the like 150 range. And I think that's better. It's what kind of where the doctor was saying I should be. So, and I'm trying to stay there without eating garbage. So, which is kind of tough because garbage is so readily available, garbage is so delicious, and that sort of thing. But now I'm finding that the garbage food doesn't agree with my system at all. So that's I think a good thing because it's indicative of what it's actually doing to my system. And I just can never believe that I felt like this so much compared to what I feel like now. So that's interesting. Anyways, but yeah, so like I said, food and I have an interesting and complex relationship, which I can talk about another time. But today I want to talk a little bit about creativity and how creativity is part of survival and part of thriving. So creativity as survival. Creativity helps you maintain a strong sense of self. Gives you a strong sense of gratification. And creativity kind of helps you get out what needs to get out. It gives you a thing to meditate on without like being in a meditative state. And creativity gives you goals that you can accomplish. So that's how the creativity helps you survive. And but also creativity helps you thrive as a person because it helps you flourish. It gives you an incentive to continually gain ideas and put them out, put them together, reshape them. So this week, one of the things I did is I went for a long walk. Well, you might call it a hike because it was uphill and it was pretty steep. And when I was out there, I was walking around and I was thinking back on Gleefield because, I start thinking about when I'm in the countryside, I start thinking about my story set in the countryside. And I started thinking about what would be happening in this kind of environment. And then I started looking around the world around me and appreciating it in a different way because I'm thinking about it in a way that I'm going to use this as inspiration. And then after that, I took time to just sit down and without judgment and without any sort of narration or anything going on in my head, just look at the world and see the leaves moving, smell the soil, and just hear all of nature and the modern world, because I was close enough to the modern world I could still hear cars going in the background and it sounded almost like the whooshing of waves because you have whoosh, whoosh, they're just as they're driving by. Vroom. But anyways, that said, it helps me make the best me available. So on one level, it just helps me be, because without having any form of creativity in my life, I don't know how I can survive at all. I don't do it for money, but I do it for survival in a way, because if I had no way of expressing these ideas and things, I have absolutely no idea what kind of person I would be. I imagine I would be very what's the word I'm looking for? Curmudgeonly, much more so than I am. So I'm a little bit of a curmudgeon. I'm a little bit of a misanthropic person. I don't hate people, but my goodness, there's times I could do without them. I'm sure everybody has those times, but I probably have a disproportionately larger amount of time that I'm just like, people, no. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about some of that stuff. And there it was. So thank you for listening to my continual prattling on. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the month. Stay tuned to the channel. We're going to have some Giacomo Sings coming up. And I really deathly want to do a Dead Mall video. And I was supposed to do that this week. It did not happen because of other commitments. But who knows what will lie ahead. All right. So have yourselves a wonderful rest of the month, and we'll see you later. Bye.